Real-Time Television is an online television channel broadcast that is based in Kisumu County with its main offices located in Ahero Town. It broadcasts mainly in English and Kiswahili and focuses on the social, economic, and political matters. Follow RTV New Kenya on our social media platforms to get more informed. Real-Time Television, the number one online television channel.
Welcome to Real-Time Television, and as we know, today we are going to look at the status of Devolution Mashinani. And on my show today, we have a guest, Mr. Paul Onyango, Mr. Onyango, right? Yeah, he's the PA, this kind of Wawithi. Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Briefly, you can just tell our viewers who you are, if there are other parts of that introduction that I omitted.
Yeah, my name is Paul Onyango. Sometimes some people know me as Anyango. Come from East Kano ward as a PA and a secretary to Mheshimiwa again in that office.
Thank you. So, as we all know, development is the key determinant when it comes to the evaluation of a political office, and that is what most of our politicians are being judged with, by what they have done in their tenure, what they have not done, what they should do, and improvements. So, just generally today, Mr. Paul, just give me an update of your your project distribution within the ward. Like, what have you done so far?
Yeah, we've done several projects in our ward, ranging from one department to the other. So as you know that some line ministries were devolved to the county. So those ones are the ones that we are dealing with. One, agriculture, we are dealing with the roads, we are dealing with the water, dealing with the health, environment, among others. So our projects range from one department to the other, and they are distributed across the whole ward.
Now, just give me a brief illustration on the operation and non-operational ECDs. Like, do we have a distribution? And if there is a distribution, do you have names?
Yeah, in all our primary schools, we have ECDs because that is the primary area where education starts. And I want to say that all our ECDs are there functioning. The only issue that may be raised are the status, of which we are trying to address some of them. And we've done some infrastructure in ECD. And I want to say that in the last financial year, we did one at Yogo Primary School. There was one in the financial year in 2018-2019 in Katolo, which was not completed. And at the same time, at this particular moment, we have allocated funds to ECDs, like one in Kanyangoro Primary School, in Nyarombe Primary School, in Warado Primary School, Kutawendo Primary School, and Nechoda Primary School. So those ones are awaiting funds. And just as you know, a few days ago, the funds were dispersed to the counties, and we are sure the works will start very soon.
And do you have any reasons why Yogo ECD is only 80% done? What's happening with the 20%?
Yeah, what's happening with the 20%? The only challenge that we have, and I want to make a highlight on this, is that when the contracts are awarded, we don't know exactly the way they are procured. So that at the end of the day, you are given a contractor who comes on the ground and the site is handed over. So sometimes you realize that even before the completion of works, you are told And I want to say that sometimes I consider them as rumors that the contractor has already been paid. So the only person who can tell this one is the executive, because they are the people who do implementation and the payment to the contractors. Our work is only to do the oversight.
And what is happening to the Katolo ECD that has stalled ever since 2018? What's happening with its allocation?
Yeah, with the Katolo ECD, when we came to the office, the first ECD that we undertook, because it was water had crossed from the other regime to this regime, so that one was our first project in ECD. And an allocation was given to a tune of 700,000, which was done to the slab. So when we forwarded more requisitions for funds to be added to that project, they told us that already they are taking care of it, of which we have waited until today. We've gone to very many public participations. People have cried, people have asked, but nothing has been done on that.
Nothing has been done.
Yeah.
Is there something that you can do in your capacity?
In our capacity, we can just make more requisitions, but the big issue here is the line ministry, who can now tell us exactly what is happening. Because sometimes, you know, some of these projects, you may not know exactly what is happening in the file. Could be that the file has already been closed, that work was already completed. So the right person to answer that is the executive. Yeah.
I think we'll meet them in a time to come, and then we'll also ask them what is happening there. So tell me about Magina and Kopon dispensary.
Magina and Kopon dispensary, right now, we are doing well there. There was a mail ward that was constructed, though it has not been inherited by the staff there, simply because it doesn't have water and electricity. So the same thing, I still raise issues with the executive that by the time the architectural drawing was being done, they knew very well that this one is a health facility, which cannot do without water and electricity. So when we made a lot of inquiries that how comes that a health facility can be constructed without these two major provisions, then does it mean that it is not a health facility? So it ended that way, and at this particular moment, they have not inherited it. It is still lying there. If you go there, you could get that the bats are laying there. So I think something ought to be done. We've even, during the public participation, we've even proposed for funds to be given to that facility so that the provision of water and electricity can now be done. But in return, you get that it is not taken care of. So I still want to say that whoever is heading the health facility, including the Magina that you are also asking, we did the same, because when we came to power, already there was a construction of Magina dispensary. So what we did there was finishing. So we did our part, and up to now, the same issue that surrounds Kopon, which is not Kopon, let me make the correction here, it is Nyakongo dispensary, is also hitting Magina, and they may differ from one to the other, but it has not also been occupied. They also claim that they want a finished health facility. They cannot occupy a facility that does not serve the purpose of health.
On your two major explanations about why some of these projects are failed, starting with the ECD and now the dispensary, I think you've mentioned a failure in the side of the executive.
Yeah.
Do we have people that are responsible? Because if they are watching the show, then we need to know and let them know that they should up their game.
Yeah, there are people who are responsible. Can I start with the Ministry of Public Works? By the time they do their BQs and architectural drawing, they should make sure they contact the line ministry that if you are doing a health facility, what are the requirements? Because I want to believe that there was no way the public health could give room to Ministry of Public Works to do an architectural drawing that does not take care of all these issues that we are now raising. So it should start with the public works. It should start with the chief officer in that particular line ministry. All of them are answering.
Tell me about Wawithi dispensary. It's a stalled project.
Yeah, Wawithi dispensary was also started. It was given a location of around 3.2 million in phase 1, and it was constructed to slab. So when we also forwarded again the phase 2, which we gave 4 million, the ministry, I don't know what happened, but at this particular moment we've already allocated another 4 million for this financial year 2020-2021. So we are sure that if things go well, it will be done.
And Kinasia dispensary that is supposed to be elevated.
Kinasia
any portfolio on the elevation, or is it just an elevation without portfolio?
Yeah, you know, when it comes to elevation now, this one is the issue of the health ministry that now considers that. Our work is to oversight, and it is them who know exactly that which one is supposed to be elevated and which one should wait for the time, depending on what they consider before they give that elevation.
Now, when the health sector is perfect, as you are contemplating that your office will do something about it, we know that access to the hospitals have to be very good, like in terms of road and feeder roads.
Yeah.
Do you have any update on what you are doing with the feeder roads?
On the feeder roads,
Yeah.
I may say that I want to start, we are doing a health facility in Ayueo sub-location in a village called Ogango village. So there's a health facility that is coming up. It has been done in 3 phases, complete, or we are waiting for the allocation of maybe the latrine and fencing. So we did a road, of which we rerouted that road. It was supposed to come from Kandoga to Kutawendo. But since there was a health facility that was now coming up, we rerouted it. So that road, which is under construction now comes from off Magendo Road, Ogango Health Facility, St. Camilas to Kutawendo. So we are trying to make sure that that particular health facility can be accessed.
Just before I take you far through the feeder road, just allow me to cut you short. There is a viewer who is saying Wawithi Hospital is stalled, and he needs an update on that. Why is it stalled? I don't think you mentioned it.
Why is it stalled?
Why is it stalled?
The reason why it is stalled, I can say maybe it was a lack of funds, because when we allocated 4 million, they have approved it. To mean the issue of why can be answered by the issue of funds, which the county government has more information on that.
I think he has now found clarification, because we talked about it, but seemingly he didn't find a clarification on that. Yeah. Now let's continue with the feeder roads. Tell me about Ayueo and Katolo Road.
Ayueo and Katolo Road.
Yes, you are on it.
So Ayueo, we have Ayueo Nyakungo Dispensary, Warado Road. And then we have Odenya Road that runs from Ayueo Canteen to through Kodete, then to Katolo. At this particular moment, I want to say that those 2 roads are in a pathetic situation, and a few months ago, it has already been visited by a road inspector, and I'm sure at this particular moment they are making a BQ so that it can be repaired. The only challenge that is there, the Ayueo Nyakongo Warado Dispensary Road was done, but due to floods that swept almost all roads in, can I say Nyando, and everywhere, this is something that we could not control. and for that reason, it damaged all these roads. So before
most of them.
Most of them. So at this particular moment, we have already inspected the roads with the line ministry. They are working on a BQ. At the same time, I want to also raise issue with the national government or whoever can be responsible for this. During the construction of Sondro Ahero Road, these two roads were used as a diversion. And the only little I know is that when you use a road as a diversion, you don't leave it that way. You have to take care of it, because by the time you are using it, you never found it that way. So all the damages should now be taken care of by the contractor who is contracting Sondo Ahero.
I'm getting a tweet from a viewer who is saying Kogeno Bridge is in a very bad state, and your office is not doing something about it.
Which bridge?
Kogeno Bridge. I don't know.
Kogeno, unless maybe the spelling?
Kagone. Is it Kagone? He's saying Kogeno. So maybe if you know.
Kagone.
Kagone.
Yeah, Kagone.
Yeah, I think to the viewer it is Kagone Bridge,
yeah,
not Kogeno.
Yeah, so Kagone Bridge, this one, you may call it a bridge, but currently there is no bridge there. We are supposed to do a footbridge there. So if he talks of a bridge which does not already exist, then I think the only answer to that is that in the previous regime, they had proposed the construction of a footbridge there, and even some material are still lying there. I think a contractor was awarded a contract there, of which he never did. So we've been there with the sub-county ward admin and his team.
If he was awarded and he has not obliged, are you doing something about it?
Yeah, we are doing something, because at this particular moment, among the roads to be done in East Kano Wawithi ward is Olasi, Kinasia, through that particular bridge. So it is there in the budget for this financial year. So it means that we are doing something about it.
There is an access road, Kadoga Kutawendo. I'm told that already there was an allocation of 5 million. Is that true? And is it done, or was it done as per your standards?
I think this is a question that you had asked about access roads to our health facilities. And I remember I told you we rerouted Kandoga Kutawendo road so that it can pass through Ogango, St. Kamlas, and Ayueyo. No, not Ayueyo, sorry, and Kutawendo. Yeah, it is being done. It has been done to some percentage. And currently, as we speak, even the grading works have been done to some section, and the dumping of Maram has also been done. The only challenge that has been there are the rains that have been consistent and have not given contractor room to finish the works. Yeah.
Tell me about bursaries and county scholarship when it comes to promotion of education.
Yeah. All right, let me start with the scholarship. We are normally awarded 10 positions for scholarship in each and every ward, whereby we are supposed to sponsor 5 girls and 5 boys. We've done it to the best of our expectation. It will now depend on how somebody views it. Because what we've done in scholarship, we've distributed our scholarship. Since we have 5 sub-locations in our ward, namely Magina, Ayueyo, Nyakongo, Achego, and Katolo. So we've distributed the 2 slots per sub-location. And we also consider villages when distributing this. Now, what we normally do, immediately when exams are done, I sometimes go out, reach out the head teachers to find out the performance of each and every school. So I have at least a data. So when these people present themselves for interview, I already know exactly what each and every student scored in each and every school. So it helps us a lot. So the bursary committee sits down and interview is conducted, and simply, as you know, that this issue of the best needy student, which is also a very complicated issue, because when you are told to present best needy, it is very technical, because yeah, sometimes you'll find that the best needy, what degree of neediness do you consider before you say that this one is the right candidate?
A particular candidate is needy,
yeah,
more needy than the other.
Than the other. Yeah. So we give 2 slots per sub-location, considering the villages. Even with me, I carried the way we conduct our interviews, of which I'll be able to show you at the end of the show. And this one is a raw materials, so that I cannot tell you that something that was loaded in a computer. It's a raw material from the interview table. Yeah.
And what about youth empowerment and job creation? What have you done so far?
Youth empowerment.
In East Kano, with the word.
Youth empowerment, you know that youth are the most energetic people whom we require to do most of our activities, especially when it comes to farms and any other areas. Now, we've supported our youth, and not only youth, even other groups, interested groups, with water pumps, so that they can use this one to irrigate their farms. Besides that, we've also involved in talent search, because talents are also job creation maybe in future. So we've given them sports gear so that they are able to nurture their talent, and at the same time make them busy so that they are not able to involve in some other ugly activities. So I think we are doing that, because when you talk of empowering the youth, it's a very wide area, because even the Kenyan government has not been able to do it. So we can only do it within our capacity. Yeah.
And in terms of youth empowerment, there was a project on water pump distribution within your ward.
Yeah.
Do you have facts and names of beneficiaries, like people who benefited? Because they are probably watching the show and they want to give you an applaud for that.
We gave it to groups. So what we have in our records are the names of the groups
that benefited.
Yeah, we cannot talk of individuals. It is the names of the group. So if you say people who benefited, then it doesn't sound. If you would have asked the groups that benefited, I'm sure the groups
I think if you mention the groups, people that found themselves within these groups will feel included, and they will.
Yeah, what I can say, I can mention a few groups offhand. I can talk of Kilaguni, is a group in Magina, which is doing irrigation, and they are doing horticultural. I can mention Kakich Dam. I can mention there is a women group in Yogo called Yogo Upper. So a few names that I can remember offhand. Those are groups that benefited. But normally, the only challenge that we have, I don't know whether you've dealt with the youth. We normally request for the groups to make their proposal. So the interested groups would forward their request. So on reaching the office, we also forward them to the ministry. So it is the ministry that does the vetting. So when they come down, they tell us that now these are the groups who have benefited, depending on the number of pumps that are there.
And I think before we go for a short break,
yeah,
I want to bring to your attention that there is an there is a feedback that is positive from one of the people that is coming from within your ward.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I would want to give my regards to the area MCA for the purchase of sports equipment for 10 volleyball teams and 4 volleyball teams. He's just saying thank you.
Yeah. That's welcome.
Yeah, and in terms of that, when we look at the issue of sports, do you have any other plans that is yet to come when it comes to sports promotion?
Yeah, currently we are looking forward that we want to create more activities in sports so that we include almost everybody, even the women, the youth, and anybody who are interested in sports, because I want to believe that in sports it makes us more healthy when we exercise, do most of exercise, and it can only be done in sports.
Let me take you back to the question of distribution of water pumps.
Yeah.
Is it true that there was a problem with there was a water problem in Alasi?
Water problem or pumps?
Water problem, like there was a water problem, because somebody is also saying, and is a viewer they are watching,
Yeah.
and he's saying there was a water problem in Alasi. What was the essence of giving individual water pumps without water for irrigation?
The essence of giving?
Water pumps without water for irrigation.
All right.
Like if there is a water deficiency,
Yeah.
how are the pumps going to work?
Yeah, maybe it depends on how the viewer is now trying to view it. But what I want to believe, if I talk of Kilaguni that I've mentioned,
Yes.
this one is a youth group that does its activities along Nyando River. And if it is a Kakich Dam, there is a dam there. And also we have Awach River that cuts across our ward, which is also the boundary between us and Nyakach. So it doesn't mean that if you are provided with a water pump, wherever the location, wherever you are, you cannot go out, reach out the rivers or dams to do irrigation.
So it's upon them to be mobile.
Yeah.
When you are in an area that is less supplied by water, it's upon you to look for.
Yeah, if you are interested
Only
in
if you are
farming,
interested.
if you are interested in farming,
Okay.
so you have to reach out and find out how do I get water? I already have a water pump. So what remains is now water. How do I reach there?
Joseph Otieno, that is the feedback from your leader. I think we're going for a short break, and just coming up, I'm going to read another feedback from a positive viewer. Actually, today I'm very, very surprised that people from your ward are very positive about the progress that your leadership is doing. We are going for a short break. This is Real Time Television. Coming up.
Thank you.
Real Time Television is an online television channel broadcast that is based in Kisumu County with its main offices located in Ahero Town. It broadcasts mainly in English and Kiswahili and focuses on the social, economic, and political matters. Follow RTV New Kenya on our social media platforms to get more informed. Real Time Television, the #1 online television channel.
Welcome back to Real Time Television. As always, we give you tomorrow's news right now. And today, my guest speaker was Mr. Paul Anyango.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the personal assistant at East Kano stroke Wawithi ward. Karibu kwa show.
Asante.
We were talking about Devolution Mashinani.
Thank you.
And there is something that you wanted to clarify before we went for a short break on project distribution.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I want to believe, to the best of my knowledge, our projects are well distributed across the whole world. And as you know that each and every land ministry has to undertake projects ranging from water, roads, environment, and any other. And just to mention, for instance, if we talk of health, we have a health facility that is coming up in Wawithi, that is Magina sublocation. We have Ogango Health Center that has been done in 3 phases, which is in Ayueyo. Then we have a pit latrine that has also been constructed in part of Ayueyo, next to Ayueyo Canteen. We have Manyata in Achego, that is now under health. And we are also looking forward to make sure that all the areas that have no health facilities are also taken care of. And I want to believe that in all our sublocations, we have health facilities. And that is why, when we realize that Magina in Wawithi has problem due to the use of the geographical position and the floods during rainy times, that is why we thought of it, that even if there is a Magina Health Center in Magina sublocation, we were to do another one at Wawithi so that to ease that movement. So that is under health. Now under roads, when we came to power, we came to realize that there are areas that were not accessible. And one of them is in Nyakongo sublocation. So we did a road between Katambo and Miranga Church, that is in Nyakongo. We also did a road in Magina. When we came to learn that accessing Magina, you have to go through a harrow before you can reach Magina. So we did a formation of a road and marammed the section of it between Apondo School and the Ayueyo Canteen. We got some challenges whereby some people were not ready to surrender their land, but a road was done there. That is a road in now Magina. We've done a road in Achego sublocation in the name of Tokteko Kandoga, which has not been completed. Currently, we are doing a road between Awach and Kanyangoro, the same in Achego. A road has been proposed between Olasi and Kinasia, that is in Katolo sublocation. We are also proposing another road between Warado to Kware. So I want to believe that our roads are now well distributed, because we really wanted to at least make sure that we deliver on the promises that we gave to the people. At the same time, this one is accompanied by public participation. It becomes very difficult for you to forward a project that has not gone through public participation. So under all, that is what we've done. And under business and cooperatives, I think we have done, we did a dip at Ayueyo, which we renovated. We've done a floodlight at Olasi. We've done, we proposed another one at Nyakongo dispensary, so that to offer security at that particular place. Under tourism and sports, just as I told you, we've been able to provide our youth with sports gear. Under education...
And before you continue on sports, let me just clarify an issue. It was 10 football teams and 4 volleyball teams. I think I made a mistake before we went for a break.
Yeah, thank you for that. And then under education, immediately when we came to power, there is what we call the grassroots projects, which were done between the financial year 2017 and 2018. Though it never advanced, But what happened that we provided ECD desk to quite a good number of our ECD schools. That's what we did. We are also doing, we constructed Yogo, which is also in Katolo. We have also proposed ECDs in Warado, that is in Ayueyo, in Nyarombe, that is in Achego, in Ogwethi, that is Magina. So, to the best of my understanding, they are well distributed. Underwater, currently, I think that in Katolo sublocation, Polasi village, we did extension of water. In the same sublocation, which is Holo Orucho, we also renovated Holo Orucho water project and did some extension. We are also proposing, which has already been, geological survey has been done. This is now in Nyakongo dispensary, which will provide water for that particular facility and any other people that are coming around that place. The same water will be extended from Ayueyo sublocation to Nyakongo sublocation, of which a few weeks ago we visited the site to know how that water is supposed to run. When we came to power, we realized that there are some areas that are already had water. So it becomes not prudent to award what is already there. Now, when it comes to agriculture, we've done rice distillation in Nyachoda rice. We've also proposed under what we call KENSAP, Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture, funded by World Program. We've already allocated 10 million to our irrigation scheme. In Katolo again, there is a dam that is being constructed.
On the Awach irrigation scheme, just to cut you short, are farmers getting subsidies, like input?
Yeah. Currently, I'm not able to tell exactly because I've not been to that place recently, except that what I know is what the projects that have been proposed will at least give us a way forward on how we can improve on our rice production in that particular area.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So we have Kukungu Dam, which was also supposed to be funded with KENSAP, just as I said. This is in Katolo sublocation. So currently, through KENSAP, we were given 10 million, which was distributed across all the ward, where each and every sublocation got 2 groups, and the World Bank is trying to improve on indigenous kitchen and chicken, yes, cassava and sorghum. So each and every sublocation got 2 groups each, and implementation is on process at this particular moment. So I want to believe, just as I told you earlier, that we normally make sure that if one particular sublocation or village gets water this particular year, the next particular year it should be given something different from that, same as what we awarded the other time. And this is what makes it very complicated for people to understand, because most of the people would want to believe that when it comes to water, each and every sublocation or village is supposed to be given that provision, which cannot work. So I want to believe that in case anybody would want to criticize the way we distribute, I, as Paulo Nyanga Nyango, who has a lot of experience, I've worked in different areas, I know that criticism is the steering of leadership. if you criticize me positively, that is just a reminder to me that I have not done something correctly. So we welcome whoever is criticizing. They will take us back to track.
Do you have any detailed information on bursaries and county scholarships, like even a list of beneficiaries?
Yeah, I have the way we approach it. And I want to give an example that when we sit on that particular table, I normally represent the MCA as it is required by the structure. So we normally make sure that we interview. And for instance, I will tell you that in 2018, we interviewed we interviewed 30 students who wanted scholarship, and this is how we arrange for it. So one, we make sure that we take care of the marks, because normally there is a cut line, and this one now depends on the performance of yearly performance. So for example, with me here, I could be having a student by the name Dickens, Ochio Dickens, who did his exams in St. Anne's, Aero, who got 412 marks, and was awarded a chance in Kabianga secondary school, and the contact person there was Susan. I think this is the merger, and this one is from a village called Kokul village in Magina. So at the end of my column, I put the remarks, so that this one will make me be able to know why was he or she awarded. So we do our things in a transparent way.
The factors that you considered,
yeah,
for awarding that scholarship.
For that scholarship. Okay. And our records are there, and this is why I accompanied myself with a raw material, whereby somebody does not claim that maybe I fed a computer. This one is raw, the way it was handled.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So at the same time, we also do give a scholarship to vocational training. For example, this financial year, which is 2020, we gave 17 beneficiaries. And we invited the application. And the application that we invited, I can see 33 attended the interview. So after the interview, the 17 qualified and were awarded that, and the documents are with me here.
It was an open interview.
An open interview. And as you can see, this one is a raw material, whereby nobody can talk of maybe this one is doctored whatever. It is here with me. So I want to believe that we do our things in a transparent way. This one, as to why we do this,
can you just kindly give me the names of the beneficiaries when it comes to the vocational training students?
Yeah, I have a record.
People who benefited.
Yeah, I have a record.
Maybe you can read it out so that.
All right. For instance, in the vocational training student for the year 2020, East Kano Wawithi ward, the first beneficiary was Jacinta Awur Adoyo, who is doing electrical and electronics. Admission number 3094 of 2020. We have Derek Ochieng Omondi doing electrical and electronics, admission 3069 of 2020. We have Maurice Ojenda doing electrical and electronics, admission 3017 of 2020. We have Julius Odhiambo Okuna also doing electrical and electronics, admission 3047 of 2020. Movin Anyango Okombo doing electrical and electronics, admission 2984 of 2020. Calvin's Odhiambo also doing electrical and electronics, admission 3056 of 2020. Vivian Atieno doing agribusiness technology, admission 3082 of 2020. John Ojango Apio doing building technology, admission 3149 of 2020.
I think that is just enough proof
Yeah.
for somebody who was doubting actually
Yeah.
if they are beneficiaries. So, were you done with the facts that you wanted to give us
Yeah, on the distribution
on the distribution?
Yeah, to that extent,
Yes.
I want to believe whoever knows the geographical, the geography of East Kano to Wawithi, now you can judge if at all that is how they are distributed. Is it the correct way they would have wanted it to be?
And is this information with the public?
The information are there in our offices, so whoever wants to get information, you just walk into our offices and get that clarification.
Okay, if you are done with the distribution fact that you wanted to give us, there is a viewer who is saying there is a room of a dam worth 8 million that is yet to be constructed. Any highlights?
It is not a rumor, and I want to believe if that particular viewer is on the ground, he should have known that the contractor is already on site.
Joseph Otieno, that is to you.
Yeah.
So you are saying it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, and I told you that this one is a World Bank project under KENSAP, and it's being done in Holo Orucho.
And what is the status of Alasi and Kinasia Dam? I think I'm told they need a distillation process.
Katolo and Kinasia.
Yes.
Unless I get it clearly, if somebody talks of Katolo Kinasia,
They are saying Olasi and Kinasia,
a dam.
a dam that
So-
needs maintenance and specifically a distillation process.
Yeah. In fact, that one is a very good question. When the World Bank came to East Kano to Wawithi, we are among the two where pilot projects are now being done. This is Awasonjiko and East Kano to Wawithi. So a committee was formed that went round, collected the views of the public, and with them, they have that record. And I'm sure if in their public participation, they forwarded that to that particular committee, then it will be considered.
Do you have any plans looming in your grassroots committee, if there exists one?
Grassroots committee?
Yes.
Which one?
Like in your office,
Yeah.
do you have a grassroots committee?
Yeah, there was a grassroots committee when we came to office, which was also abolished by the county. And currently, what is being done is that when the projects are being done, a formation of committee is done to that particular project. So there is no grassroots committee.
It was disbanded.
It was disbanded.
You thought it was not important, or it is the government?
It is the government that you cannot keep a committee without giving them a clear way of how they are going to perform their
Like a
duties.
structure.
Yeah.
So do you have any applause on well done projects? Okay, you've listed, but which ones do you think of as the best done projects that you would want to take credit for?
The best done projects, I can talk of Ogango Health Center,
Okay.
which has been done within a very short period. I can talk of Nyachoda Rice Irrigation Scheme, which was done, and immediately after it was done, farmers came back to us and told us that they got some good harvest. Then we have a road that links Katambo and Miranga Church. That one was a very virgin land that no road had already passed there. So I'm sure that when that road came up, it gave services to that particular area. I have the ECD chairs that was well distributed. I also have these two extension of waters, Holo Rucho and Olasi. Yeah, among others. And I want to say that it will depend on how one views on the projects, how it was done, or how it's being done.
Also depending on the interest of the person on the
Interest
project.
of the person.
Yeah, because somebody interested in farming
Yeah.
may not applaud that much
Exactly.
a project on road or.
So, yeah.
Yes. So somebody will want to know what is the composition of your ward office now that we know that East Kano Wawithi has got more than 5 sub-locations. Somebody will want to know, when I go to this office, who do I find there?
When you talk of composition of the office,
Yes.
you may not necessarily rely on the sub-location and all that. But if I may mention, my security in that office comes from again a sub-location. I come from a US sub-location. Then there is a T-girl who also comes from Achego, bordering Achego. And so if somebody talks of distribution of regions, then it becomes very technical. At the same time, if you are looking forward to distribute and you are not able to get somebody who is able to manage that office, and then when you are in politics, take care, you can be challenged in one way or the other.
Any parting shot to the people of East Kano Wawithi?
Yes, I want to say that when we were asking for votes, we made pledges. And at this particular moment, what we are doing, we are trying to make sure that we honor our pledges. And I want to request that let the residents of East Kano Wawithi give us time to implement or oversight what we promised the people. At the same time, we also welcome them to share with us what they would want us to do or correct anything that we've not done well. So we feel welcome. Number two, you know that most of the time in politics, people don't wait for 5 years. Immediately you are in the office, they start campaigning. So I want to believe that those are to me, it is one of the best things they are doing because they are keeping us on check. If at all they are not there, then we forget that we are the only people. So we also welcome them. Let them come on the ground, help us build East Kano Wawithi ward.
You are coming from East Kano Wawithi saying, and this is just appreciation to the area MCA, that I would like to regard the area MCA for planting trees at each public school.
Yes, that one was done.
Did this process take place?
It took place, yes. And this was done in 2017-2018 financial year. Unfortunately, it was followed by a dry spell, of which some of the trees did not germinate, only a few. At the same time, since we are doing it in public institutions, so it was negligence of the people who are manning those particular institutions that did not take care of them, but it was done.
So my question is, on the tree planting, do you have efforts on sustainability, what you intend to do? And do you want to continue with the project in other institutions that never benefited from the same?
Yeah, I think that just as you reminded me, we'll think of it so that we also include it in our future budget.
So, I think that was it. I think Honorable Ken Agengo is very happy for your representation here. And based on what you said, I think we give the ball back to the people of East Kano Wawithi to judge on what you've said, because they are the people on the ground and they can actually tell and testify to the fact that this is true or this is not true. But we as Real TV, we really appreciate your coming, and if you meet your area MCA, Honorable Ken Agengo. Just tell him you are welcome. He's welcome to our show, and we'll be happy to host him.
Thank you. I also welcome the invitation simply because it has given me an opportunity to at least present to the people what has been done and what is awaiting funds, so that if anybody has question, then if today's presentation can, let he or she come to the office. And then lastly, I have a message to our beloved governor and the executive. And the message to them, I want to tell you that before I came to East Kano Wawithi ward, I've worked in several areas. For one, I worked in Kasarani constituency as a personal assistant to Honorable Elizabeth Ongoro Marshall and CDF secretary, which gave me a lot of experience in politics and management of projects. Before then, I was a trade unionist. So my advice to our able governor and the executive, the implementation has not been done perfectly to the ground. And I want to say that we could be good in making policies, but the implementation part of it is the most important part of it. And this is why you can see some projects that are not finished. For instance, you are asking me about Katolo, ECD. If at all our executive was active, they should have been able to tell exactly what has happened. So can our governor make sure that the policies are implemented to the letter? And if not, then it could be good and no implementation. Lastly, I have a very big concern, and I want this message to reach the executive. We form committees for our projects, and these committees, it attracts 2 members from the community who sits in that committee and the line ministry. The MCA is represented when he is not there, so sometimes I represent the MCA. But the biggest challenge that from 2017 up to date, the PMCs have not been paid their allowances up to date, apart from the Ministry of Roads. And even the same Ministry of Roads, some roads have not been paid. So a question that a layman can ask, where do this money go? Are they in the contract sum, or they are supposed to be gotten from another account which is not contract sum? And if at all they are in the contract sum, when a contractor is paid, the difference that was supposed to pay the PMC, where does it go? Lastly, the idea of reshuffling minister. When one has wronged in one ministry, you reshuffle him, like doing no work. He will do the same thing that he did in the other ministry. I'm sure that you may not be able to capture this, but that is the only area. If you want to help our governor, let him make sure that the executive is doing their work. Can he one day make an impromptu visit? And I want to tell you that I like what Mr. Koyo, MP for Moroni, did a few weeks ago. When there was a loud cry, the MP presented himself, approached the people and told them what he's going to do concerning their cry, what he's not able to do, which is not within his jurisdiction. You see? So can the governor take heed of the public cry? You remember one thing, an executive is an appointee. So when he's an appointee, he earns his salary. Does he care when you'll get votes next time or not. He doesn't care. So let him take care of the executive. And if I was to give the marks, I would tell you that none of them would go past 50%. And if you want to judge this, just hear the cry on the ground, over the social media, over the radio. What are they doing about it? Otherwise, friend.
Rate devolution for me.
Yeah, devolution was a well-thought idea, except that the structure has not reached the ground, where the common mwananchi is able to sign a certificate of works completed. Because what I want, can Mary Anyango, can David Odhiambo sign a certificate for completion that will stand that in future, if a question is to be asked, then we'll ask them, who is Mary Atieno? Is she not a resident of this particular area? Who signed this certificate that this work was completed? So the structure is still missing, it is not there. And if at all it is there, it is not working.
That is it from East Kano to Wawithi. I'm your host, Leonardo Daya. This is real-time television, and like always, we bring you tomorrow's news today. Thank you, Mr. Paul, for coming.
Thank you.
Good to see you.